Dirty people of the internet, welcome to Mom's Basement, from where I bring you another Destiny 2 build video. A video showing you an easy build for farming solo lost sectors. One build to rule them all. Wrong universe, I know. No need for Masterworked armor. No need for Warmind Cells. And no need for Charged with Light mods, but they can be added if you need them, and if you have them, that is. All this and more in DirtyHotte's casual dead lost sector build video, which is, as always, a must-see, but I guess you already knew that, right? Right! And remember folks, like, subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated and help me out, cause for every like, Mom gives Dirty a cookie. Moreover, if you are interested in seeing me live, make sure to drop by Mom's Basement, from where I stream every Tuesday and Thursday on twitch.tv. You will find the links in the description and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And now let's get on with this awesome video! Okay, dirty folks, I hope you are still with me, because it's time to share this super easy solo PvE build. It was brought to yours truly's attention that there is a need for a simple loadout to do solo legendary and master lost sectors without the need for all those older Charged with Light and Warmind Cell mods people might not have. I myself don't have them all as well. So this build will give you a core loadout which is capable of doing legendary and master lost sectors without the need for Warmind Cells, Masterworked armor, Charged with Light mods. Yeah, Charged with Light mods will be optional, but we will talk about that one a little bit later. Now we will go through this build step by step and create a nice little cheat sheet on the way, because that's what you're here for, right? So that you have the full build on one slide at the end of this video. The build offers different options, which will be covered by the cheat sheet as well. So let's have a quick look on our cheat sheet to get an overview of the contents I will show. Isn't that background beautiful? Okay, so we're gonna start with the weapons, then we will talk about subclass and abilities we will be using, talking about the exotic armor we will run, continuing with the mods we will be using with a few optional stuff here, but we're coming to this later as said, and a short summary regarding the stats that will be beneficial for this build. And remember folks, as always, you will find the cheat sheet in the description of this beautiful video. With all that said, I think it's time to start the actual build, so let's have a look at the weapons we're gonna use. So the first weapon I will show you is the choice for our energy slot. And here we're gonna use the well-known Borealis exotic sniper rifle, which I say is a little bit underrated at the moment. I mean, first it looks kind of beautiful, but let's talk about what it brings to the table. So as you know, we have in the lost sectors and other champion stuff and PvE activities, so different energy types of shields, and Borealis gives us the option to change the weapon's damage type, so we can fit every shield that is in the lost sector or whatever activity we're gonna run. Beautiful, but there's more to it, because this season, with our seasonal artifact, we have the anti-barrier sniper rifle armor mod. So using the Borealis sniper rifle also gives us the weapon to break barrier champions' shields. So let's see that on our nice little cheat sheet in the weapons column over here. So as said, we will be using the Borealis sniper, because with that we cover all the energy shields that might be in the lost sector we will be running, or any other activity that has shields in that regard. Moreover, we have the anti-barrier mod for the sniper rifle, so we can also break the shields of shield champions with this gun. Beautiful. So let's stay a little moment on the cheat sheet and talk about secondaries. Secondaries will be for sure depending which lost sector or activity you're gonna run, because of the champion modifiers you will need. First, let's start with the bow. So I say one option is any kinetic bow you might have and you like running. I like to add the major spec and as said the overload champion mod. So with that combination of the Borealis and any kinetic bow, we have the option to break champion shields and stop or stun overload champions. And that's a must-have for lost sectors, folks. So for the legendary and master ones at least. But let's talk a bit more about bows. So regarding perks, I would recommend these two. First is Vorpal Weapon, because that gives a nice 20 or 25% damage buff, not only against boss, but it's also working against champions you might face in the legendary sector. And then we have a special one. I think a perk nobody really uses, and that's Sympathetic Arsenal. So basically when you kill something and reload, which is after every arrow, regarding bows, you will reload all the weapons you have equipped. And here comes a little trick into play. Now let me show you. With this perk, Sympathetic Arsenal and Borealis, you can have unlimited Ionic Return damage buff up all the time. That sounds crazy, I know, because that's like a 40% damage buff for Borealis. And let me show you a little video of how we gonna do that. So we hit that little captain with the arc shield, and now you can see we have Ionic Return. Then we start killing stuff with the damage buff. And now with 1 bullet left, we switch to the bow. Get some kills or 1 kill. Switch back to the sniper rifle, and you see we have 5 bullets in the mag again with Ionic Return still running. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do that for an unlimited time, which is really useful. Back to the cheat sheet. That was what I wanted to show you folks about bows. So Sympathetic Arsenal with Borealis Sniper, that's a neat little trick here. For free only at DirtyHotte.com. Or whatever that YouTube thing is the address of. You know it because you're here. Okay, so as you know, we don't always face overload champions, but also the unstoppable guys. That's the moment when we switch our bow for a hand cannon, and it can be any kinetic hand cannon you like to run and feel comfortable with. So basically that 7 Seraph revolver is just an example image, okay? I like to run it with minor or major spec mods depending on what I face. I think that's just down to a little bit of experience and testing. I would say go for minor because hand cannons lost the precision damage buff, so you might be better off with this one for killing the red boss. Because for the majors we will anyway swap to the Borealis sniper or our power weapon. Then as said, with the hand cannon we can run the unstoppable mod. So again, we covered all the champion modifiers we might face in the activity we gonna run. Beautiful. That's basically it about the secondaries. And let me just show you a little thing, because I said, let's say for bows and hand cannons you can run anything, but I recommended these 2 perks, for example, for the bows. So let me show you what I actually run and will run in the Lost Sector example video at the end. So in the example I was running this Whispering Slap with Hipfire Grip and Swashbuckler, which isn't really the best option you might go with. I don't know why we have minor spec equipped here. Okay, that's better. So that's what I basically run for the Lost Sector. I will show you later. So Whispering Slap is the bow that can run with Warple Weapon, and Biting Winds is the one that can run with Sympathetic Arsenal. Just so you know what to farm. I think Biting Winds is much easier to get at the moment by just doing Europa stuff. With that said, let's hop back to our cheat sheet, because there's 1 weapon slot left, and that's the power weapon. This season I would strongly recommend going with a rocket launcher. It can be anyone you like and have. I for sure run it with boss spec for the final boss of the Lost Sector. Not sure if it also works with champions, I don't think so. But anyhow, I find auto reloading holster pretty useful for those rocket launchers. I will give you an example in just a second, and I would pair it with any damage perk. I personally run my rocket launcher with Frenzy. What I like to do, for example, especially for the shield champions, is getting 1 rocket in, switching to the Borealis sniper rifle, because 1 shot or maybe instantly he will bring up his shield. So I use the Borealis to break his shield, maybe get another sniper crit in, switch back to the rocket launcher, which should have been reloaded because of the auto-loading holster, and get the next rocket in. And finish him off with the sniper. So that's basically how we do it here in Mom's basement. Okay, I think we talked about all the weapons we gonna use, and you get the idea how we cover all the champion modifiers. Which brings us to the subclass we will be running, and I will keep this one short because I think it was talked a lot about the Stormcaller mid-tree in the past, because that's what we're gonna run. For sure you will use the Healing Rift for that extra survivability in case you need it, because it's on demand. Then we will use the Pulse Grenade. Yes, the Pulse Grenade is important to use. I will talk about that one in a second. What's more with the mid-tree Stormcaller, it's the Chaos Reach Super, which is, depending on the situation and how we use it, the strongest damage super you can have as a Warlock when you're doing stuff solo. So that's why we use this one. Then we have Ball Lightning, the ranged melee. Yeah, that might be handy. Pulse Wave, Being critically wounded triggers an energy wave that boosts your speed and the other speed if you have to get out of critical situations quickly. Another good thing is the Ionic Trace, because that will help us with our ability energy. So let's hop back to the cheat sheet and let's talk about the subclass, or show the stuff I just said quick and dirty here on the sheet. So it's Mid-Tree Stormcaller. These are the perks or abilities that come with it. Ionic Trace is very good for our ability regeneration, and we will use the Pulse Grenade. And here's why, ladies and gentlemen. Because with the Pulse Grenade we can run another seasonal artifact mod against Overload champions. So we have another option to stun those Overload champions. And I like to run that because it's a great additional Overload champion stun. Because I really hate those buggers. I really hate them. So the more Overload champion stun shit I can get, I will use. So that's also why we run Stormcaller. Because that works only with the arc grenades. Which brings us right to our next part, the exotic armor we gonna use with this build. That are the Geomag Stabilizers. When Chaos Reach super energy is almost full, sprinting tops it off. So we're talking about the last super bar. If that's the only one missing, just sprint around and fill it up. Damaging enemies with Chaos Reach extends its duration, which is really good against bosses in the Lost Sectors. So that's basically the exotic armor we're gonna run, and let's look at our cheat sheet again and talk a little bit about the benefits. So as said, in the exotic armor slot, we're gonna run the Geomag Stabilizers. We just talked about the benefits, and that's really nice because compared or paired with Chaos Reach, because it's the only super it works with and they are made for it, you have the biggest solo Warlock super damage you can have in whole Destiny 2. If you think another super does more damage, you're wrong and I'm right, so we also talked about that one. No, seriously, it's one of the best, or maybe the best you can have for the Legendary and Master Lost Sectors, because when your super is full for the final boss, you can basically burn them down just by using the one super. So I'd say regarding weapons, exotic armor, gear, subclass, we are pretty much finished, because it's an easier loadout or build this time than usual. We don't have that many synergies. There are still one or two to come when we are talking about mods, what we will be doing now. So let's go over the mods we have to run. First is the new mod Elemental Ordnance. Grenade kills drop or spawn elemental wells, and collecting those will give you ability energy when they match your subclass. So that's the first one. That's one you can get that season. It's rotating at the war table, so no problem to get it. The next one is a Font of Wisdom. When you collect an elemental well, you will get a plus 50 of intellect for 30 seconds, which is pretty neat for having faster supers. And paired with Geomag Stabilizers, you get them pretty quickly. That's how it works. Spawn an elemental well, collect it to have a Font of Wisdom active, which can be active like all the time in the sectors to get more super beams of death. Beautiful. Don't waste it on a shield champion though, just saying, because that happens to me like very often, because PvE wise I'm a pretty casual. And another benefit for those elemental well mods is picking up an element matching your subclass grants energy to all abilities, which gives you more grenades, which is always nice to have for those legendary sectors, especially when you get them down and know where the enemies spawn. Then let's talk about some more mods. I would also recommend to run Sniper Damage Resistance, because every damage coming from 29 meters or further away, you get a 25% resistance, which is pretty huge, because for resilience you get like 1%. So that one is, I think, kind of critical if you want to have an easier life in those sectors. And I think it's kind of underrated or not that well known in the casual Destiny 2 community. As a second one, I like to write Concussive Dampener, 25 damage resist versus AoE. That works against nades, those fire pits on the floor, and also against boss storms, which is really, really neat. So that's basically the core mods you will need for this build. That's it. You can run the whole Lost Sector just with that stuff. I did that with a Legendary Lost Sector and also with a Master Lost Sector. It works. For Master you have to be a bit careful, but for Legendary that's basically what you need. And I'm talking about like 10 or 20 power levels under the recommended level, so not out leveling it. In the video I will show you in the end I'm about 10 above, I think, but that's just for giving you the run and the comments. Okay, so with the core mods and the core build basically down, there's only the stats left. Here are the stats I was running, or I'm running with this build. It's not great because, as said, I wasn't running Masterworked gear except for the class item, which is the one I would recommend you to always Masterwork first, because it's independent of any stats. So here are my recommendations if you can run it. So I think mobility and resilience aren't that important. 100 recovery for Warlock would be ideal. For this build, 100 discipline would also be nice to have. I have 45 intellect, 50 would be perfect. And I think strength is not that important for this build. Okay, so that's the core. That's the core. You can run any legendary and master sector with that build. Legendary should be pretty easy once you get it down. And for the master lost sector, you just have to be a bit careful and it will take a little bit longer. Now let's talk about optional stuff. You can add to the build elemental charge, which gives you a charged with light stack for every elemental well you pick up, and there will be a lot. And the charged up mod to have space for an additional charged with light stack. As said, that's optional, and you can have different charged with light stuff there if you have it. At the moment I'm running personally firepower to get more grenades. You can run energy converter to get faster super, or you can run, if you have it, and that's one I personally don't have, protective light, which basically gives you a high resistance buff when your shield breaks. And that's the one actually I would, if you struggle with surviving, that's the one I would recommend if you have it. But as said, you don't need it, because I run all the stuff only with the core build just to test it, without the complete charge with light stuff. And it worked like a charm, at least in the legendary one. Master, I had to be a little bit more careful because of those overload suckers, let me tell you. Pain in the ass. Okay, so that's it. DirtyHotte's Lost Sector build for dads. That's the build. And now let's go over one run over Legendary Lost Sector. It's one of the easier ones. Let's talk a little bit about how I approached it and what happened there. Okay, let's go. Let's start the sector. Get this guy. Switch to Borealis with the shield damage. Would have been a 3-hit if I wouldn't whiffed the 1 precision hit. Just got those nades. Just got those guys with a nice nade because they're bunched together. Get the elemental well to get our super energy rack going. And yes, most of the time I just hipfire the bow. Barrier servitor incoming. Launcher hit. He gets his shield up. Bam, bam. Stun the overload guy. Get a rocket in. And keep firing with the bow. Come on, stun him again. Ah. Yeah, we stunned him again and melee finished him off. It looks beautiful until here. We are at 1 minute 40. That's an area I actually hate at this lost sector, as soon as the servitor comes. Those guys just finished them off. Did I say before that I just hipfire the bow for the PvE stuff? We stunned him, get a rocket in, and peek firing with the bow. This is another stun, and that rocket was basically a waste, but whatever. I get the rocket in, he ports away. It was a bit unfortunate, and here's the moment I could have easily died, because they were all around me and I kind of missed it. I don't know if that's the best place to be, actually, the roof. Yeah, again. Yeah, I was getting angry there, and that's when I just pulled Chaos Reach. Because those little buggers were going on my nerve. But now, with the rocket, the shield down. Yeah, I had to reload Borealis because it was empty. What a shame. But we got the servitor down. So as you can see, PvE wise, I'm a pretty casual guy. Not the best. But it still works with this build. Some of you might be in front of the monitor at the moment and facepalm at that servitor fight. Never mind, let's continue with the run. Using Borealis for that shield. Nice. And we get the Ionic Return damage buff, which makes him a 2-tap. And we're at the boss. And the boss is at us. I don't know why they are facing their back at us. But we have enough Borealis ammo left. The super is nearly up, so we could easily top it off with Chaos Reach. I think I'm doing that now. Those little buggers. Looking for the boss because I don't know where he went. Grenade for those. Unfortunately, those two guys were avoiding it. And here he is. Chaos Reach up. We just burn them down. And we still have like 25 or 30% left when he's already dead. And that's it. We basically finished the lost sector in 4 minutes and 57 seconds, so close to 5 minutes. And if we wouldn't have messed it up with the servitor, we could have easily made it in 4. So yeah, that's it. That's the example run. I admit it's one of the easier lost sectors. And I did it for this video, I think the 3rd time. So I don't do that PvE stuff that often. So apologies for my horrible PvE movement and the servitor stuff again. So you might be much better than me with running that stuff. So the build might even help you more or make it even easier for you. Okay, so let's have a final look at our cheat sheet. That's basically what I was running in the video you have just seen. I think I was running Whispering Slap with Swashbuckler. Yes, it was with Swashbuckler. And all the other stuff was identical. I'm not sure which of these Charged with Light mods I was running. Might have been Energy Converter or Firepower. Not sure about that. But as you could see, you don't really need it. So I hope that build will be beneficial for you in the future. So with all that said and seen, I hope you will enjoy that build. Let me know if it's useful for you, and if you are a Titan or a Hunter, I think it's very easy to adapt for those classes because most of the stuff, except for the exotic armor, are like general purpose and a core build for all classes. So if you tried it, if you adapted for other classes, let me know in the comments, let me know your feedback, let me know if you like it, let me know what could be done better. So if you liked what you have been seeing and want to see more stuff coming to you from Mom's Basement, make sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell, comment below. And to stay updated, follow me on Twitter as well. And if you want to talk to me, just drop in one of my streams over at twitch.tv, where I am live every Tuesday and Thursday. With that said, stay dirty people, DirtyHotte out.